Hello, everyone. Today we will talk about sustainability. We will have a practical exploration of open source tools, resources, and strategies. First, I would like to start this exploration with a general definition of the term sustainability. This definition was stated in 1987 by the United Nations Brundtland Commission, which is a commission under the United Nations, and they try to define the term sustainability as meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So we can see that this definition is a very basic and general definition. They did not consider other topics, they did not consider the internet, the web, or anything tech related. But I wanted to start this talk with this definition so you can keep in mind this definition throughout our exploration. And we will see that even if this was a general definition, it can be applied today and to the web and to kind of everything we will see later. But first, who am I? I'm Valeria. I'm a software developer at Spark Fabric, and in the photo you can see me and my cat, which is always in the audience whenever I I I try and my talks. Um, Something basic about me: I have a very hybrid background, way too many interests, and too little time, of course. And I've been passionate about technology since I remember. Since for me the computer was a bunch of plastic things brought together, and you could play with it. It wasn't the computer that was connected to the internet or anything related. But about my career, I started off as a backend developer, but then I switched to the dark side, which of course for every backend developer is front end. If you're here and you're listening or watching this video, um, you may already know that one of my interests, one of my strong interests, is sustainability, but also accessibility. You can find me on LinkedIn by my name. So let's connect there. Let's talk about sustainability or anything tech related. What are we talking about today? We will start with some basic information, so where it all started for me. Then we will deep dive into some open source resources and tools. And in the end, we will see the reason, or maybe the reasons, why open source and the community aspects have had a key role in my journey to sustainability. First, a little disclaimer. With this talk, I personally wanted to share my journey and my personal experience as someone who was concerned about climate change, and as someone who one day found out that the internet had some negative impacts, particularly on the environment. Um, so it isn't, this talk doesn't want to be an expert point of view, um, but rather a starting point, a starting discussion, um, and a way to share my experience so that other people um, that maybe are in the same position I was can start somewhere. So it is, yes, it is a starting point. And if you have a similar experience or a different experience, uh, share with me, so maybe we can define some kind of a learning path for people who are interested in sustainability and want to start somewhere. Let's start with the basics. I said before that for me the internet was something I always loved and was my happy place. Um, with the internet, I had the possibility to develop some passions, to discover things that I loved, and and still today I'm passionate about. With the internet, everyone can entertain themselves with TV series, movies, music, and if you're watching this video, maybe you also work on the internet, or develop things that will go on the internet. So the internet is kind of an happy place. Not for safety reasons, the internet is very wild, but it is a very resourceful place. You can find anything. Um, and So the internet is an happy place. However, the internet is not very environmentally friendly. I found out that if the internet was a country, it would be the fourth largest polluter. This was the very first sentence I read about sustainability and web and its impact on the environment. And it is the opening sentence of the Sustainable Web Manifesto, which is a project that started a couple of years ago. And I recommend for you to go to the Sustainable Web Manifesto webpage and sign it. It is very important. Um, and why this sentence was eye-opening? Because in my mind, the internet was kind of, I don't want to say perfect, but kind of perfect. And when I read this sentence, the idea I had of the internet in my mind broke down into pieces. So I started developing another idea of the internet, maybe a more real idea of the internet. And I tried to find other things about this. And I found out that the internet today is responsible for about 4% of total CO2 emissions, which maybe for you this number doesn't say anything, or it is a very small number. But if we compare it to the emissions of another sector that can be uh, more familiar with people, for example, the air transport, we can see that the air transport is responsible for only 2% of total CO2 emissions. And we can see that the internet doubles those emissions. So the internet has some responsibilities on the environment and on climate change. So my journey to sustainability kind of started with those information, but I wanted to learn more, and in occasion of the UX Day, which you can see me on the stage talking about sustainability, of course, um, I learned about user experience and web sustainability. And I want to share with you some things that I learned. And basically, I learned that applying sustainability principles and strategies also means adding and be sure that our websites are fast, are very good in performances, are more usable and more accessible. So sustainability means speed, performance, usability, and accessibility. These characteristics are characteristics that users appreciate because when users navigate a website, um, us as users love when a website loads faster, is very usable. We can find what we are looking for in a couple of seconds, and also a website that is accessible, because sustainability and accessibility are kind of concepts that interconnect, because um, sustainability doesn't refer uh, only to the environment, because when websites are sustainable and mm, and are accessible, uh, this means that users can use websites. Therefore, the resources that websites need and require are not wasted, because all users can use and navigate the websites. So with sustainability, we we develop with sustainability principles and strategies, we can develop solutions and websites that are kind of that are better than the ones that do not apply in general sustainability principles. So working towards a more environmentally friendly user experience will also make users happier, as we saw and as we said a couple of minutes ago. You can find more about user experience and sustainability on the blog post I wrote. It is a very large topic, so we don't have the time today to talk only about user experience, but I recommend you to go to the tech blog of Spark Fabric and read the article. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. So, great starting point, wasn't it? Yes, sounds good to me. But meh, it wasn't enough for me. I wanted to learn more. I wanted to know other things about sustainability. So, where did we go from there? In October 2023 took place the Cloud Native Sustainability Week, which is an event, a global event organized by the CNCF, and it consisted of local meetings around cloud native sustainability. I participated with a lightning talk about cloud and sustainability, and this too is a very large topic, but I would like to give you an important thing that I learned during the Cloud Native Sustainability Week, and it is basically that we use the cloud very badly. In fact, approximately 90% of cloud data is used only one time. So we upload data to the cloud, which is somewhere, which is a very abstract concept, and then we forget about it. That data remains in the cloud, and we kind of don't even know that the data is there. We upload it, and then yes, it's there. Maybe one day I will use it again. That day doesn't come. So, and why this is important? Because that data that is on the cloud requires energy to be accessible. And if we don't use that data, that energy that is required is wasted. So we have to be aware of our actions, even when we talk about abstract things such as the cloud. We have to face the problem, and we have to start today. But I learned something about user experience, and I learned something about cloud. They are kind of on the opposite sides, and between user experience and between the cloud, there is a lot more. So I found myself asking, but as a software developer, what can I do? What else can I do every day? So I tried to find an answer to this kind of philosophical question. And the first answer I found was a Resar, the Green Software for Practitioners course, which you can find it on the training section of the Linux Foundation website. And why this was important, and I'm talking about it with you, because it is an online course, so it is very you can enroll every day and then when you want, and it is created by the Green Software Foundation along with the Linux Foundation. I think a lot of you know what the Linux Foundation is, but maybe some of you don't know what the Green Software Foundation is. And it is a non-profit organization that that aims to bring people together that are interested in sustainability and develop tools and standards that can be used to make software greener. So to help write greener software, as their name says. But let's go back to the Green Software for Practitioners course. It is a very useful course because it is a starting point for people who are not only for developers, but for people, for everyone who's involved in building, deploying, or managing a software application and want to do that in a greener way. Also, the kind of the most important thing I um, I want to say about it is that this course gives you a glossary, a starting glossary that you will use when you talk about sustainability. So it gives you kind of a bunch of words and concepts that are sustainability related that will help you to ask questions or even ask yourself questions and learn other things, learn more. So it is a very important resource for people who are starting and who want to learn about sustainability. Today, I will introduce you to some of the concepts that this course is that this course brings you. And the first ones are the main actions to reduce the carbon emissions of software. There are three. We will talk about them singularly. The first one is energy efficiency. So we have to write software that consume the least amount of electricity possible. We have to be hardware efficiency, so using the least amount of embodied carbon possible. I would like to ask you who are watching this video, and I will give you kind of 1, 2, 3 seconds to answer, but do some of you know what embodied carbon means? 1, 2, 3. Some of you said no, so I will explain. With the embodied carbon concept, embodied carbon is the pollution that is created when hardware is created and when it will be recycled. So it is all the pollution that is not that do not refer to the usage of hardware. I hope I gave you a simple explanation and a clear explanation of this concept. The last one, but not least, is carbon awareness. So doing more when electricity is clean and less when it's dirty. There are a lot of methods to do this. And for example, demand shifting and demand shaping. And today I won't explain these methods to you because I recommend you to go and take this course and learn about carbon awareness and what we can do to be more carbon aware. One other important thing that is that takes some paragraphs on the course is measuring. So we will talk a little about math, and basically the most important thing you have to be aware is that what you can't improve, what you can't measure, you can't improve. And in the green course for practitioners, you will be introduced to some methods. For example, the greenhouse gases protocol, which for friends is GHG, and this is the most widely used and internationally recognized standard. And the greenhouse gases protocol divides the emissions into three main scopes. Scope 1, the direct emissions of the activity we're talking about. Scope 2, indirect emissions. And Scope 3, all the other emissions that are not direct or indirect. And these are from the organization supply chain. The second measuring method is the software carbon intensity, which for friends is SCI. Be aware is not CSI. I always confuse myself and I always say CSI. It's not CSI, it's SCI. And this was developed by the Green Software Foundation friends, which we talked about before. And the software carbon intensity aims to give a score to a software application in order to understand how the software behaves in terms of carbon emissions. The software carbon intensity is not an absolute number, but it is a score. And the more energy and hardware efficient and carbon aware software we wrote is, then the lower is the SCI score. The software carbon intensity will soon be a ISO recognized standard, and it considers the energy, which in the equation is the E, and multiplies to I, which is the carbon intensity. M is the embodied carbon that we saw before, and R is a functional unit, and this functional unit is the one that guarantees that the software carbon intensity is a score and not an absolute number. And this functional unit can be the number of users that that navigated the page, or other units that we want to use to rate uh, our our software. But we started with three main points. We talked about resources, strategies, and all the other things, but we didn't talk about the community. So what about the community? I would like to start with the friends of the Environmental Sustainability Technical Advisory Group, which for friends is TAGM Sustainability, as the URL of their website says. And it is an advisory group under the CNCF. And with the TAGM started my contribution to open source. So I have a particular bond with this advisory group. What is their goal? The TAG's goal is similar to the Green Software Foundation and is to advocate for, develop, support, and help evaluate environmental sustainability initiatives in cloud-native technologies. And you can find the second point of this slide is their GitHub page. You can find them on GitHub and on LinkedIn and on Slack. I recommend you to join their Slack. We do so many interesting things. And why the tag was I discovered about them during the Cloud Native Sustainability Week, and so I joined them since October 2023, and I'm a part of them still today. And the tag is divided into two working groups: the Green Reviews and the Communications group. The Green Reviews is a more technical working group, and whereas the Communications working group is, as their name says, more related to communication things, so social media, blog posts, and kind of sharing what the Green Reviews working group does. And why I'm talking about the tag app sustainability, because the special thing I learned being a part of this advisory group is that people are involved in various ways, depending on their technical skills or their interests, and all people are volunteers. Everyone is volunteering their time, and everyone wants to do something to help others, to share ideas, and share solutions to problems that are already um, opened. And I found that this kind of active approach was uh, um, was very useful for people who were starting their journey on sustainability and wanted to be a part of a community, of a very inclusive community that shares all their knowledge and work together toward a more sustainable uh, cloud or software or tools. And this is kind of the core concept of open source. Different people with different backgrounds that have different approaches to problems and different ideas mm, come together and answer questions and kind of uh, approach problems and start things that will help others. And having different people with different backgrounds means that everyone can give their own point of view, and the result is more complete. So, for people who are starting their journey, this is a very important thing because when you're starting, you don't even know what the problems are. You don't know the questions you have to ask yourself or to ask other people. And having around you people that have knowledge and these people want to share it is a very beautiful thing. And for me, this had a very key role in trying to define this kind of a learning path for people that are interested in sustainability that I like, that I refer to as wannabe greener devs. Last but not least, I would like to give you some resources to look for and some tools. The first one is the developers page of the Green Web Foundation. You can find there some libraries to look for, and it is open source, so you can contribute and learn and help others in working on them. The second one is the opensustain.tech website, which is a very long list of resources, databases, and tools that are related to sustainability uh, to a very, very to the sustainability as a large concept. So you won't only find tech related things. You will find also databases and tools. If you're interested in Kubernetes, I recommend to use Kubernetes. I recommend you to go and learn more about the KubeGreen tool, and then look for then use the ecograder.com website, which gives you a very complete panoramic of how a website is working related to sustainability. Last but not least, people read some books. I recommend here. I'm recommending you 3 books. The first one is Sustainable Web Design by Tom Greenwood. If you're interested in design, read this book. It's very useful. If you're interested in sustainability in general and tech, read World Wide Waste by Jerry McGovern. It gives you a very real interpretation and real point of view on how the web behaves today in terms of sustainability. And the last one, which is on my reading list since months, is How Bad Are Bananas? The Carbon Footprint of Everything, which is written by Mike Berners-Lee, which, yes, is the brother of Tim Berners-Lee. And here again, that's me with my cat. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. Let's talk about sustainability. And if you have other questions, about what I talked to you today, ask them. Thank you.